know who to trust, and more importantly, who not to. You ever wake up to the sound of your phone vibrating across a wooden nightstand? That low, persistent buzz you know means trouble? Well, that's how it started for me. And let me tell you, if you ever want to see the true colors of a community, just take away their snowplow when the forecast calls for 3 feet overnight. In Wyoming, that's not an inconvenience, that's a lockdown. And the folks up in Pine Hollow Ridge, they learned that the hard way. Picture this. It's January, cold enough your eyelashes freeze if you blink too long, and I'm out back with my shovel, just feeling the bite of that dry, hissing snow that scrapes along the tin roof. I remember thinking, yeah, this storm's got teeth. My boots squeak against the old boards. I'm checking the wind, sipping coffee gone lukewarm, and then my phone goes off. It's a resident. Well, technically not mine anymore. They're pleading, no plows on Creekbend. New service hasn't shown up. Can you help? And I have to stand there, staring at my 6 trucks, diesel still ticking from their pre-check, knowing damn well I can't. You see, 3 weeks before, I lost that contract. Or, more accurately, had it stolen. Cynthia Whitfield, the new HOA president with her luxury SUV and a voice made of ice, wanted priority status. She wanted her slice of mountain to get plowed before schools, hospitals, and old folks' homes. When I told her no, she tried to paint me as incompetent. Funny thing about people who crave control, they'll break the rules, then blame you for following them. And you know what? They faked the whole thing. Forged a contract, bad insurance, wrong license numbers, even used the name of a company I dissolved half a decade ago, Wyatech Alpine. At first, I thought about fighting. Lawyers, county complaints, all that noise. But then I saw the storm rolling in, and something in me just waited. Sometimes, if you let the weather do the talking, it says everything for you. That afternoon, the snow came down sideways. By sundown, my team had the emergency routes clear, the school district loops sanded, hospital lane open. But Pine Hollow Ridge? Not a single tire touched it. I'd already sent legal notice to the sheriff, the county, everybody who needed to know. If you break contract without cause, you lose emergency coverage. That's the law. It wasn't personal. Well, not at first. The texts started rolling in, residents, Cynthia herself, accusing my crew of blocking roads that we weren't even near. That's what snow does, see? It messes with your sense of space, of time, hides the truth in plain sight. But I had the dash cams, GPS logs, time-stamped reports. All my ducks, neat in a row. Then, at 9:42 p.m., Cynthia calls, voice quivering but still holding on to that brittle confidence. Mr. Rowan, there's been a mistake. Can we renegotiate? And I stood outside, letting the wind whip the words out of my mouth. You didn't just breach contract. You tried to hijack what keeps this place alive. You know that saying about playing stupid games, winning stupid prizes? Well, they just entered the championship. Let me back up a sec, because if you want to understand why I care, you need to know where I came from. Name's Thomas Rowan, 57, and for the last 15 winters, I've run the only real snowplow operation in this corner of Wyoming. Not because I bought anyone out, but because nobody else could cut it. Not after Afghanistan. Not after watching convoys vanish in the night and knowing that every quiet moment could mean the difference between getting home and not. When I came back, I rebuilt those first 3 plow trucks by hand. Hired a couple other vets who wanted a fair shake, not a handout. We were the only ones still running when the 2011 blizzard took out 2 competitors. I didn't do this for glory. I did it so nobody else could dictate if the road stayed open. And sure, Pine Hollow's money helped me upgrade Maggie, my favorite plow truck. But then Cynthia rolled in, clipboard and all, acting like I was some gig worker. Snow removal shouldn't look so industrial, she said, peering down at my grit pile like it was a personal insult. Then the letter came. Termination for lack of aesthetic synergy. I swear, if you ever want a real laugh, let someone fire you for not being visually harmonious with the landscape. But I played it cool. Smiled, shook hands, even told her I understood. All the while, I was documenting everything. Motion cameras, FOIA requests, logging every complaint. Because out here, you never go loud before you go clean. Then the sabotage started. My salt pile slashed, weird tire tracks near my diesel tanks, and an HOA newsletter bragging about their shiny new snow service, Wyatech Alpine. The name alone was a bad joke. That company hadn't existed since I dissolved it in 2018. At best, Cynthia had freelancers. At worst, a bunch of grifters. But I let it slide, because I needed everyone to see the failure with their own eyes. And that's when Joe Bateman comes in. Joe, 74, spine like a question mark. Just trying to make it to his VA appointments without busting a hip. He calls, voice rough with cold and skepticism. They're not just banning you. They're trying to blacklist you from every HOA in a 5-mile radius. That was it. That was war. Still, I waited. The night before the big storm, Jason, one of my crew, former Navy corpsman, asks, "You sure about this?" I tell him, "You can't fix arrogance, but you can let it dig its own driveway." He laughs, but not really. The storm hits, gates lock, nobody comes to plow. Residents start calling, panicking. We've got elderly trapped, cars stuck, pipes freezing. Cynthia? Radio silence for a while. Then, "We're willing to renegotiate." The tone she used. The one that says, "Oops, maybe you actually were the only option." Yeah, that happened. Meanwhile, I'm documenting everything. Drone footage of empty roads, GPS logs, every call, every fake contract. I file it all, county, FEMA, my lawyer, even an investigative reporter. I didn't need to say a word online. I let the snow speak for me. By the time the second wave of the storm hit, you could see it. Desperation on the faces pressed to frosted windows. People realizing the HOA had traded survival for control. Cynthia's crew tried to shovel with garden trowels. Wyatech Alpine's phone line was dead. And still, nobody came. The twist, the gut punch. When the HOA tried to backdate their fake contract, cover their tracks, rewrite the minutes like none of it happened. But they didn't know I'd already caught it all on video, live-streamed by Jason, undercover at the meeting, sending the footage to my secure drive. Cynthia, standing there in her crimson blazer, cool as ever, says, "We'll update the minutes to make the vote line up. If no one gets access, Rowan won't touch our roads again." She had no idea I'd already won. We took the whole pile of evidence to the county. Forged documents, blocked access, fake company payments, everything. The clerk didn't even blink, just stamped it and sent us straight to code enforcement. By the time the news hit, the town was in uproar. Cynthia blamed me, the weather, even climate change. Claimed I was sabotaging the community for spite. But this time, nobody bought it. The county stepped in, froze the HOA's powers, opened up the records. Then came the real storm, 12 feet of drift in some spots. Houses buried to the second story. Still no plow service except mine, but I waited for legal clearance. When the emergency injunction came through, we hit those roads like thunder. Maggie rolled through the locked gate, smashed it flat, and we dug out a minivan with a baby inside. Mother's hands bleeding from pounding on the glass. We split the crew, Birch Hollow, elder care, every route cleared in hours. Cynthia? We found her standing in the clubhouse window, watching it all slip away. I just let the engine idle, let her hear what real power sounds like when it isn't hers anymore. After that, the county hearing wasn't about snow. It was about justice, fraud, obstruction, endangerment. Carol, my attorney, laid out the timeline, the contracts, the emails, the drone footage. Cynthia's lawyers tried to spin it, but the facts were ice cold. Judge Ramirez didn't flinch. HOA dissolved, assets seized, my service thanked. The best part? The town changed. No more secret meetings, no more white glove policies. Just folks with gloves and shovels, showing up, helping out. They named the new retention park Veterans Meadow, put my name on a plaque. I didn't ask, but I didn't stop them. Even the hardest winters thaw, you know? Cynthia disappeared. No apology, no press release. Maybe she's in Florida now, somewhere warm, somewhere the only thing falling is rain. Some folks say I should have let it go, moved on, taken the high road. Maybe. But let me ask you, when does standing your ground become more than just stubbornness? When does it become right? So, here's my question for you. Now that you've heard my side, where do you draw the line between justice and payback? When is it okay to let someone fail, to let a lesson hurt, if it means no one else makes the same mistake next time? Have you ever had to hold your ground against power, or stand up for the kind of truth that buries you in silence first? Share your thoughts. I want to hear your stories about justice, about right and wrong, about the winters you've weathered and the storms you saw coming. Because trust me, out here, the snow always remembers, and so do the people who dig you out.